All right, so that brings us to our last match here, the final game of the regular season.
Whew, final game of the regular season, and another warrior, Amnesiac, taking on bloodyface. Amnesiac going to be bringing the bomb warrior this week. Unfortunately for Amnesiac, he did have actually a pretty decent chance of qualifying for playoffs based on tiebreakers had a few of the other matches gone differently. For the players that were in that kind of running to finish 7-7, if PNC were to lose, he had the better tiebreakers out of like the other 3 players remaining that could have got that record. So unfortunately for him, his season, he did everything he could, but his season was in other players' hands in the final week. But we'll see if he can take down bloodyface in this last matchup. And bloodyface bringing the Cyclone Mage, pretty standard version of it. This is the one that I like the best with Luna's Pocket Galaxy main deck with the Snip Snap, which of course Dan has said multiple times. It's a mistake. You should put it in every deck. If you don't put it in every deck, it's a mistake.
Yeah, I almost legitimately think that in almost every archetype. There's a few that you could justify not playing it in if it's like extremely tribal-centric, like Murlocs or Beast Hunter.
I still think it's okay.
Well, definitely not in Beast Hunter, because Master Call gets ruined by it.
No, it's worth it.
It's...
No, it's not.
Really not.
Don't listen to me.
Done. But in almost every other deck.
In almost every other deck, it is good. And even in Mage, which is a deck you're like, well, I don't think it really fits in a Mage. The deck list is too tight as it is. Well, it's replacing Sandbinder, which I think was kind of a filler card as it was. So I do like the Snip Snap inclusion. And bloodyface starting off with Mountain Giant Conjurer's Calling on the coin. Decent start. See what Amnesiac decides to keep if he thinks Blastmaster Boom without any bomb synergy right off the bat is a keep, or if he's just going to throw away all 3 of these. Acolyte of Pain also has merit because the early minions outside of Sorcerer's Apprentice that the mage plays will allow Acolyte to draw multiple cards. But is it too slow? You do need to pressure the mage in this matchup.
I think you do need to pressure the mage, so... That's actually something that Amnesiac was talking about, that he kept Blastmaster Boom in almost every of his matches, but it was a different matchup, I believe. It was Warrior versus Warrior?
It was Warrior versus Warrior, yeah.
This game, he says, you know what? I need my other tools. I'm going to ask him about that if he wins.
Yep. For bloodyface, this is a matter of him not wanting to finish last place. And I'm actually going to go to the standings page right now and see if he does lose, who has the tiebreaker for him and Firebat for sole possession.
Sure. Amnesiac with the early Omega assembly, just kind of recognizing that he likes to play his Bomb Warrior as a tempo deck. There's something that's pretty consistent across the board. Some players like to be a little bit conservative with their timing of it, and they like to take their time, really, of how long it takes to set up. Bloodyface has Magic Trick, but he has no real substance of minions. Looks like he's on the do-nothing plan.
Ooh, Arcane Intellect, so good.
Yeah, Arcane Intellect's really good because of that Mountain Giant, too, so you can play it on turn 4. He even has the evocation, so you can Mountain Giant, you can evocate the Mountain Giant and Conjurer's Calling.
All right, so I do have some breaking news. Firebat is last place.
No matter what?
Yeah. They tied in their head-to-head match score, 1-1. And bloodyface has the tiebreaker 2 over Firebat. So even if bloodyface loses, Firebat would retain sole possession of last place.
The dubious honor.
Dubious.
Dubious. All right, are we going for it? The evocation.
Probably.
Mountain Giant Conjurer's Calling. I like it.
Amnesiac only has 1 Brawl in the deck. While he does have it in the hand, bloodyface wanted to take that risk. Really the only play he can make. He followed up with these Arcane Intellects to draw additional cards, but... Now the question for Amnesiac is, do you take 16 damage and wait a turn to try and greed some more minions, more resources onto the board from bloodyface, he can Dynamatic and maybe draw some cards with the Acolyte of Pain, but...
Brawl, brawl, brawl. Who wins? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Big giant wins. Uh-oh, that's not... Oh,
Uh-oh.
man. This is actually an interesting decision point, but I think I'd like to take 2 giants for 300, Alex. Yeah.
Job's done.
Yeah, this is looking like a train wreck here for Amnesiac because he wasn't able to get that brawl.
What is death?
Something not to be feared, but to be embraced.
He could safeguard and buy some time.
Yeah, he buys a turn.
Say the magic word.
Perfect timing for Luna's Pocket Galaxy.
Yeah, it really is, because he has nothing, anything. He has no real substance to play, anyways. And also, he can just draw into all the stuff that he wants to tempo out next turn.
Yep.
And I'd even argue that had bloodyface played the Luna's Pocket Galaxy in 5, he'd be still in a really dominant position regardless. Obviously, 2 giants are really powerful still. And Amnesiac, Dynamatic, is hoping just to soften up stuff. Oh my gosh! What?
All right, well, maybe a little bit of game for Amnesiac because of that.
Maybe. His Town Crier doesn't draw another rush minion, though.
Yeah.
So bloodyface is like, oh, he has all 3 rush minions in his hand.
Yeah. Bloodyface, though, a ton of good draws here with Acolyte of Pain. 0-mana Mountain Giant. He's seen the only brawl, so he can feel free to kind of go ham on this board. I imagine he does want to trade into the Dynamatic to prevent Ziliax plus a trade. Ziliax from gaining too much life. He could also go for bananas to bring it out of range. Oh, and Mana Cyclone. In fact, yeah, I think you do go for the trade. Because if you go face and he Ziliaxes and then double trades over, then you wasted the damage that you went face with anyway. I don't know. Does it matter? You know Ziliax is in the hand.
What to do?
I'm enjoying the stream of consciousness commentary.
Runs out on me.
Just keep going.
Does it matter, though? I need some help here, Dan.
Does anything matter?
Feel me out.
Does UI matter?
What is Hearthstone?
Sometimes when I'm going up against Mana Cyclone Mage, I ask myself the same thing. Whew. Well, looking like death here for bloodyface against Amnesiac. There's 12 damage on board, 17. He's got 14 with the bananas. Oh, GG.
Well, that game ended on turn 8. So pretty rough game for Amnesiac and just kind of the hand for bloodyface. You know, one of those types of hands for Mage, no matter what class you are, very difficult to beat. I think that's why Cyclone Mage is just such a powerful force in the metagame because of how big their big turns are. I think I can't remember exactly who said it, but probably Admirable. I don't know.
If you're not first, you're last.
If you're not first, you're last. Yeah, that's one of the things I was about to say. The second is in a game like Hearthstone, if your deck doesn't do broken things, if your deck is fair, it's probably not a tier 1 deck.
I remember Raynad said that a lot back in the day.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
I felt like I heard it recently, but maybe it was passed down from generation to generation.
He said, this is a pretty good card. It'll never see play.
Yeah. And
you need to do broken stuff.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it is. Like, if you look at the top 3 decks in the metagame, They all have combos of cards that are just ridiculously powerful. And I'm just going to keep going because our producer, last time I was making points, started to play this very music, which usually means that I'm supposed to give the floor to Dan so he can throw to a break, but I'm going to keep going. And
Shadows are rising again, darker than they've ever been. As evil descends from the skies, the world cries out, how will we survive? Out of the hall of explorers, and up from the dusty tombs, they grab their whips and fedoras. These legends of the past know exactly what to do. There might be magic monsters, mummies in the markets, and ancient mysticism. There's surely scorching deserts, adventure, monster of narcissism. High stakes think annihilation, obliteration of civilization. Now is the time to be brave. Evil's come to enslave, but this league's gonna save the world.
My name is Brian Eason, also known as bloodyface. When I first started playing Hearthstone, the first deck that I crafted was Miracle Rogue, and it was pretty much the only deck I played. I love combo style decks. I don't like really being aggressive per se, but I like having a deck that has a very aggressive finish. I think my X factor, maybe my defining characteristic, is that I think about everything. I mean, you could say that's like a characteristic of overthinking, but I think it's important to overthink because you're playing against like the best minds, and it's important to be understanding that everyone else is also capable of doing that, so you need to be able to outthink everybody. From a competitive standpoint, I want to improve as a player. Against Hunter Ace, I think I made a pretty big mistake. I really care about just making sure that whenever I play Hearthstone, it's my best Hearthstone. Initially, when I found out about Grandmasters, I kind of felt like it was just like kind of another league. But it wasn't until I was actually standing next to the other Grandmasters at Worlds that it made me feel like kind of emotional. We just had such a high concentration of like pure talent to actually hit that level and rub shoulders alongside them. It means a lot to me. Playing at the highest level is super interesting because people do unpredictable things. So I look forward to the mind games.
I'm Will Barton. I'm also Amnesiac, the young savage. I was Amnesia SC for like 3 years. But since I didn't have a microphone when I started playing Hearthstone, everyone was just like, oh, it's Amnesiac. And I was like, no, but there was no mic. So I was just like, yes, okay. So I think my experience for Grandmasters was different from a lot of people because in my mind, there was just never any way I wasn't gonna be in the league. I've been top 5 in points in North America for like 4 years now or something, 3 or 4 years. I have a big presence online. I think people get excited when I come onto streams and watch them. I'm somebody people can kind of get behind. So in my mind, when they announced Grandmasters, I was like, all right, let's do it. In terms of Hearthstone, I still really think that I have what it takes to be one of, if not the best players in the world. And I really intend to put in more work than I did last year and be more disciplined. I think I got a lot better at using my time over the past year, and I want to apply that skill and show people just how good I can be.
Bloodyface vs. Amnesiac, the last series of the regular season here for the Hearthstone Grandmasters of Americas. TJ and I have had the wonderful pleasure of being with you guys almost all the season, but of course, shout out to Language Hacker and Falcone for holding it down in the Americas that 1 week we were at Admiral's wedding. Still a fantastic memory, if you will. It was,
Yeah.
I told many people that was actually one of the happiest memories of my adult life.
Yeah, Sam, and it's been tough with a small child to travel a lot. So
Your
it's great.
son knows how to party at weddings.
He does.
He
Yeah.
was moving and grooving to the music.
The amazing thing about it, jokes aside, is that he slept almost the entire time. Like at one point, I was carrying him on the dance floor.
Yeah, while booking.
Super loud music while moving around a lot.
Yeah.
Gyrating, if you will.
Yeah, to Ja Rule.
To Ja Rule and Genuine, and he was just passed out, and it was amazing. So my wife and I got to travel with him up to the wedding, and yeah, great experience. But
Fantastic.
now back down to earth, Dan. It's potentially the final game of the America's Grandmasters regular season for Season 1. If bloodyface is able to close this one out. Amnesiac and bloodyface have switched. Amnesiac is playing his tertiary deck, which has added Big Game Hunter, the second brawl, and double super collider. Taking out Eternium Rover, 1 Omega Assembly, Harrison Jones, and Archivist Elysiana. Bloodyface has swapped over to his secondary deck, taking out the Frost Novas and the Sea Giants, and has added in Harrison Jones, Karen Bloodhoof, and 2 Astromancers. But Amnesiac adding more removal, bloodyface adding more threats.
All right, well, Amnesiac picks up his early game hand that has a lot of good options right now, but I like this Omega Assembly approach, to be honest, because I feel like the game often is decided before that, and it seems like he follows up with that with a turn 1 Omega Assembly here.
I must choose.
Mary Malcolm replicating Menace, the Boom Reaver.
Cool. Yeah, probably Nightmare Malcolm, just because you need to have things to play on the board early. He has the follow up to protect it with pretty much just straight removal on his hand. Job's done. So Nightmare Malcolm, just the pick that makes the most sense.
What do you think about Snip Snap on 3 against Warrior?
I think it's pretty good. I think that from bloodyface's perspective, he just needs things to fight for the board because he can't fall too far behind.
I think so. I think the one thing that you're scared about is having the early Clockwork Goblins go uncontested, and then you're forced to use like Ray of Frost on a 3/3. That doesn't do good.
Nope.
That's a good draw. I think if I'm bloodyface position, I'm going in with the Sorcerer's Apprentice with the Ray of Frost here.
Yeah, it is weak to Warpath, but at this point, I think you can. Your other play is to essentially just do nothing.
Well, he is weak to Warpath too. If you double Ray of Frost 3/4.
What to do?
He's clearing off his own board to fight back.
Oh, so you want to go face with the Simsap after that? Oh, that makes sense. Because then you can trade the Mana Cycle in next turn. Discourages Amnesiac from Warpathing because he'd kill off his own minion and still leave a 2/1 on board. Yeah.
Someday I'll be just like you.
TJ, you told me. Free damage is free damage.
Free damage.
Freeze damage.
Free real estate.
Oh, well that works out brilliantly.
Nice.
Getting a Conjurer's Calling that he can use that Amnesiac's not expecting. Although if I'm Amnesiac, I always expect a Conjurer's Call. Now, Amnesiac can do the Militia Commander into the 3/2. He can also take it really slow. I think I like the Militia Commander more than the Super Collider.
He knows that there's a Harrison Jones in the deck.
Right.
Or he suspects that there's a Harrison
the
Jones in
gates.
the deck. Doesn't know for sure. Hasn't seen any cards that would be in bloodyface's secondary deck.
One card off from being able to do some real sick stuff. Because if the mirror image was played this turn, you could have gone for... well, I don't know if you necessarily want to go super big in with the Conjurer's Calling at 3 mana.
3 mana is pretty good.
I wonder.
I don't know if you want a Khadgar Conjurer's Calling.
Right. In this position... Okay, so if you Khadgar's Conjurer's Calling, you summon 4 minions, but 2 minions come out of the Death Rattle for the thing, so you only summon 3. But you trade in the 3/2 with the 2/2.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You do get full value from it.
Yeah, he trades the Mana Cyclone and go for the quad 3-drop. I like it.
We must band together, united for Dalaran.
Oh wait!
Oh, no,
he summons
no,
more
no, no, no,
1/1s.
no, 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 no.
Oh, it doesn't work like that. Ah! Okay, well that sucks. No one saw it. It's the last game of the regular season.
I mean, we didn't notice it either, so...
I totally forgot that the death rattle effect. I was busy focusing on the board space before that.
Also, your initial reaction of he doesn't have the board space for it was correct.
Yes.
So
I
Khadgar
know I
was...
doubt myself, man.
Khadgar was essentially wasted there.
Well, no, it's summoned extra 1/1s.
You'd rather have 3/3s.
I mean, it was either like Ironford Grizzly plus something else and 2 1/1s, or Khadgar plus 2 extra 1/1s.
Ah, no, you're right.
And as you say,
So if you had just Conjurer's
It's
Calling,
just-
it would have been 2 1-drops and 2 3-drops.
yeah.
Now he gets 2 3-drops, a 2/2, and 4 1/1s.
Yeah, and that's just free damage.
That is free damage. Does get to drop Cairn next turn as well, so has the follow-up too.
It's just not the same.
It does sting a little.
It stings a lot. This hand is way worse.
You are not fit to rule the board.
Amnesiac's like, all right, you got the Cairn. You can silence it. It's like dealing 5 damage.
I'd play a 4-mana 4/3 with the Battle Cry, deal 5 damage.
He also has a Town Crier, so he can pull the Militia Commander to maybe even kill the second half.
Yeah. Could pull Ziliax though, which...
We don't think about those possibilities. We focus on the positive.
This is a glass half full kind of desk. He wanted the extra 1/1s.
That's right. He wanted the extra 1/1s to not get bad 3-drops.
not save.
Nailed it.
Somebody order a bomb.
Bomb gets shuffled in. Bloodyface finds another Conjurer's Calling. So now in this position, I think you want to capitalize on Conjurer's Calling.
Yeah.
I say we go for max 6 drops.
Yep.
Bump into Pink Man on the left here.
Or the mech.
I wonder.
What do you do?
That's true. I like trading into Spellbreaker a little better.
Okay.
Oh, Spark.
Ooh.
Here's the thing about Spark Drill though, is he doesn't want to use Conjurer's Calling again on like the 5/6. Because that's a pretty reasonable stat minion. You know what? Just go for it. Yeah. He actually gets a death rattle, which is pretty interesting. Oh wait!
Whoa!
He can actually kill the 3/3.
He can clear
with
it. They're
the
elementals.
evocation. Yeah. I was like, he can actually clear. Am I reading this right? Spark is an elemental? It is.
It is.
Evocate and clear off the mech.
Yeah, I know that because it's the same card. All of the generations of, or the generating effects of sparks are the same. Like Thunderhead, Spark Engine, Spark Drill, and playing the aggro Overload Shaman. What's the card?
Thunderhead?
No, the 2-mana. Like the spell. You play an elemental, you generate an elemental in your hand.
Earthen Might.
Earthen Might, yeah. I don't know why I couldn't think of that card. I've Earthen Mighted Sparks a lot.
Clearly.
Yeah. Or Voltaic Burst. You have a Spirit of the Frog on board, you Voltaic Burst. Voltaic Burst summon Sparks.
What now?
Then you Earthen Might, and because they're elementals, and you get their elemental.
Oh, is that what Earthen Might does?
Wait, what were we talking about?
I don't know. You're the one who played the deck a lot, so I figured you know.
I wouldn't say I played it a lot.
You just said you did play it a lot.
Like, a lot.
You said I played it. You said, quote, I played it so many times that I feel like.
No.
And then you didn't know the name of the card.
I played that interaction a lot of times. I played the deck maybe 10 or 15 times.
Woo! Amnesiac winning the brawl.
But now
More Conjurers calling.
he can Ziliax onto this minion to push 3.
Yeah, or does he want to magnetize? Or does he want to not magnetize and then Conjurers calling the 5-drop?
Yeah, the Vault safe that comes out from the safeguard is a 2-drop. Don't want to Conjurers calling that.
It's just non-stop summons. Ew. Those are really bad minions. Wow. Well, Warpath kills off all that stuff.
Yep.
If I'm Amnesiac, I make the read that Bloodyface has got a bunch of junk.
Well,
He knows that 2 cards, actually no 4 cards in the hand.
Yep, he knows 4 cards.
He knows 2 second halves of Conjurer's Calling. And he knows 2 Sparks. Spin to win, baby.
Bloodyface needs something big off the top here. Oh!
I mean, that will turn into something big.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yo, you cheated. You looked. I was going to ask, what do you think is the mana cost of the Vault save?
I just said it. Like 2.5 minutes ago.
Oh.
What to do?
So, what do you think?
What to
It's
do?
2.
Very good.
It's 2 mana.
I just want to make sure you remembered.
Yeah, I did. I remembered. Pepper's Farm remembers.
Remembers what?
What were we talking about?
There's this line that Admirable kept saying all the time, like, you just have to play the card. And I'm like, what? He's like, you have to set it and forget it. I'm like, forget what? And he looked at me and he said, I don't remember.
With the intensity of 1,000 suns.
Yeah. And so ever since that, it's just always like, forget what?
The funny thing is, Admirable prides himself on having like god tier memory. And so when he forgets something, it is the end of the world.
Yeah. Yes,
he will
does.
not stop
Yes.
until everybody is on the case.
Right. And then he also will like, walk us through why he doesn't remember. And then he'll talk about his memory links of how he associated that memory with something else. And then that's the point where they say, sir, this is a Wendy's drive-thru. Mass mage spells coming into the hand here.
Wants Arcane Intellect, Power Creation, Pyroblasts.
All right, a second Poly Galaxy. Pyroblast is good, but now he's out of time because Amnesiac's making his way. Oh, never mind, only 1 bomb in the deck. But he's still making his way back onto the board and finally getting the advantage. Bloodyface could legitimately. Oh, all right. So, I actually think that positioning should be between the 2 mirror images.
For Super Collider?
Yes.
No, because it summons directly to the right. Oh, no, you're right.
Because if you put it in the middle, that means that it'll always be adjacent. So let's say he picked up Grave Horror. If Grave Horror attacked, he would have to, like, it's just like small thing. Like maybe he'd have to attack into the 0-2 first instead of like attacking to a minion. Because if the 0-2 is on the far right, then he has to trade into it first. Otherwise, the 7A has a chance to attack into the 0-2.
Well, always be adjacent anyway, right? Because Conjurer's Calling always summons it directly to the right.
Yeah, I'm saying that I think theoretically it might be better to position in the middle, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I wonder.
Oh, no, you're right, because then this Grave Horror would have a mirror image to the right.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's a small technical thing, and in the end, we know that Amnesiac has 7 to go to 0-2, or even had like Warpath number 2 to clear it. But it's like small stuff like that where I do believe makes a difference in the long run if you're playing correctly.
Yeah. I mean, right now, Amnesiac does have a clear with double Warpath Super Collider.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like in the end, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Said like 2.5 minutes ago, TJ.
I must choose.
Just making sure you remembered.
Remember what? 7-8 goes to this, or 7-7 rather goes to 8-8. Warpath.
This way he fits in an armor up. Efficient. Nicely done.
So if I'm bloodyface, I kind of wonder if I want to just rip the research project here.
Probably. I don't think Banana Buffoon by itself is enough. You could also just Pyroblast Phase.
Yeah, but Pyroblast Face makes sense as a finishing move because you're taking this turn to develop into the warrior.
I wonder.
Well, Pyroblast Phase means that the warrior has 2 less cards to battle back, and then you can go for a big swing next turn. I think your win condition's like Archmage Tinnitus at this point, right? Maybe not. I don't know.
You could be right. Like Pyroblast theoretically isn't going to hit anything else.
Yeah.
It's just going straight to the face.
Because now Amnesiac, he has a reactive hand, but his hand is reactive against what?
Well, he's got a proactive hand now with
Yeah, Snip Snap.
Snap.
But is he scared?
He's scared about the possibility that Antonitis might be drawn. He knows 2 of these spells on the left are randomly generated.
If it's just 3 Pyroblast, that's scary.
Well, if he has 3 Pyroblasts, he's got you. Actually, he doesn't, because he could shield block, armor up, go back to 20 life, and Bloodyface Pyroblast, and then he armors up, and he's out of range of the 3rd Pyroblast.
Still scary, though.
Still very scary. I like the proactive play here, though. I like spreading it, so that way Ray of Frost can't mess with you. Oh, pushing the one. I like it. That's some 2016 Winter Championship plays there. Bloodyface has the opportunity to draw with Research Project. I think it's time.
Looking for Archmage Tinnitus.
Oh! Don't want to draw that, though.
He bop beep boop bop beat up.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's a Tyrion noise, actually.
That is so sick.
Nope, it's both.
Magic trick. Pulling out the Antonitis fireballs. Finds Ray of Frost. Book it, TJ. That's just infinite fireballs coming out here.
Pretty much. I wonder if he wants to throw 1 fireball at face this turn to try and set it up.
I would like
Runs
to.
out on me.
Could even play Mountain Giant. And then 1 fireball to face and a Ray of Frost.
Agreed. We run down to 7. Amnesiac can gain 8. Sorry, 7, 8, 9 life. To 16. Be dead to what's on board.
Yep.
Amnesiac has 2 brawls in the deck. And it's already played both, apparently.
What now?
So,
No outs for that. If you did have a brawl, you could shield block, brawl, and then armor up to be slightly out of range, but
problem is he can't do everything. He can't gain life, he can't remove what's on board, and he can't, well, he can't do both. He needs to gain life and remove.
oh no, he can. He shield slams the Archmage Tinnitus and Omega Devastators to Mountain Giant.
You're right.
The problem is, can he gain life beyond that? Because Bloodyface is gonna. Bloodyface has over the next 2 turns 13 plus 7, 20. I don't think he can go up to 20 unless he picks up Dr. Boom Mad Genius.
You're right. I totally forgot about that.
So
I was thinking about Big Game Hunter so much, I forgot about the Omega Devastator.
yeah. So still a chance for Amnesiac. Does need a lot of help off the top of his deck.
All right. 14 health, 13 damage.
Start chucking him.
Bloodyface is probably going to start thinking about the possibilities of like, oh, should I like be freezing a minion because I don't want to take 13 and my opponent has like 2 bombs in the deck?
Ziliax is gone. One shield block's gone.
How many bombs are in the deck?
0.
0 bombs.
Yeah.
He's hoping, well, if Amnesiac plays Wrench Caliber and shuffles more bombs in,
What to do?
it's a possibility. He's thinking about it. Should he freeze instead? Goes for it. 2 fireballs.
I think you just need 1 fireball here.
That makes sense too.
The
So you
same
can
damage
squeeze
split
in the
over
hero
the
power. Yeah. Trying to see if he can draw some heat away from his face in case. I like this as well.
So Bloodyface has 13 damage next turn. Amnesiac needs Blastmaster. Boom! Nope.
Does
Wrench
not
Caliber.
bind it, and that should do it. Knows 2 fireballs in the hand. Amnesiac doesn't have enough life gain. The Luna's Pocket Galaxy able to ride high, and that's a 2-0 victory for Bloodyface. Decisive victory allows him to move up in the standings. He's 5-9, which means Fiery Bat is alone at 4-10. Also means that Amnesiac did not get the 7-7 tiebreaker anyways.
Yeah.
Which means he doesn't effectively tie for 3rd. Amnesiac falls, I believe, to tie for 6th. And that's going to be it for the regular season, DJ.
Yeah, that was the last game. It's been a ride, Dan. One hell of a ride.
It's been quite the journey. We're going to check in with Bloodyface momentarily before we wrap everything up. In fact, I believe he's on the line. Hey, Brian, you there?
Yeah, how are you guys?
Doing all right, man. So, last game of the season, going into it, just wanted to get some of your thoughts and going into this match and overall for Season 1.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, knowing I played against Amnesiac and Muzzy, I kind of felt like Amnesiac was going to bring Warrior since he brought it last week, and neither one of us are playing for super high stakes, and I know he does other things besides Hearthstone, so I kind of figured he'd submit it again. So, like, I kind of teched my list to be a little bit better against a Control Warrior style. That's why I don't have the Twilight Drakes. I don't know if that's correct or not, but I saw last week he was running double Super Collider, 0 Elix, so I just wanted my deck to be, like, have a little bit more bulky stuff at the top end. So that's kind of why I landed on what I did.
Gotcha. Well, Amnesiac did actually have a potential playoff spot to play for this week.
Did he?
So did you.
I don't think I did. 7 wins. Because there was PNC,
You could have
Muzzy, and
Strife Crow.
and
Yeah.
and Stripe Pro and Amnesiac.
You
I
could
don't-
have.
I mean,
You could have all finished at 6 and 8. There was a scenario where PNC, Stripe Crow, Amnesiac, Muzzy, and you finished 6 and 8.
Okay.
And in that scenario, your tiebreakers were pretty good, but you needed
Yeah, I
everything
was,
to
like,
work
one
out
of the only-
perfectly.
Yeah, I was one of the only 2 people that beat Frozen. So
Yep.
Exactly.
If I yeah. Okay,
So-
I mean, fair enough. It's not like I slacked off.
He's like, oh man, I wish I tried harder this week.
I probably should have tried harder.
Well, it wouldn't have made a
For
difference
sure.
since PNC won his match. So he went to
it was
7 wins.
dependent on PNC losing both of his matches,
Yeah, it
which was the key.
Yep.
And since he won his first match, it kind of threw all that out of the window. But, it is what it is, and still, overall, good thing. Let's talk a little bit about some of the questions that we're asking other players. What's, like, one valuable lesson that you learned going into Season 2?
I mean, if we keep Specialist around, I think I need to practice more. Like, I was watching some people play today, and I think obviously, I mean, he's great. I mean, the person that impressed me the most was Hunter Ace, but just watching him play Mage against Casey, I just felt like I needed to step my game up. So, yeah, just gotta push myself to improve. I think that like halfway through the season, I was like 2 and 6. And I still had an outside shot at making it, but like I kind of lost a little bit of motivation. I think I should have just I need to find that intrinsic motivation, not necessarily be motivated by whether or not I can make playoffs. I think I need to focus more on like bettering myself as a player.
Yeah, having the heart of a champion, right? That's definitely an internal struggle that a lot of people battle in competition. So definitely an understandable and relatable feeling for sure. So Bloodyface, we're talking a lot about how everything has panned out, but give us a little bit of prediction here. You're the last match of the entire regular season. There's the playoffs, and you said that Hunter Ace is the most impressive, so we're going to go ahead and say Hunter Ace wins Europe there. Do you have a prediction for Asia Pacific and Americas? Who takes it?
I mean, Frozen's just killing it. I think that like, especially last week, seeing what Frozen did, like he brought the anti-control warrior side deck, and I don't know if he got that from watching my stream, because on my stream I was playtesting control warrior, but I only played it for 3 games because I wanted it like low on my radar. So I don't know if he like really dug deep, but like he just had the next level read on the meta. I mean, he had a sideboard for control warrior when control warrior wasn't brought any other week. Like that's just insane to me. And on top of that, I think I think he was one of the first people that really said Pogo Hopper was really good, and I kind of came around to a similar conclusion that he had. So he's just I think he's making really good calls really early on, and he's doing some really next level stuff, and he's right on the money. So I think he'd be the favorite of America's.
Gotcha. Do you have any APAC predictions at all?
Big fan of Alutemu.
My man.
Formerly known as Mod Champ. Yeah, I mean, he was one of the people that brought Mage early on. I think Mage ended up being one of the best decks, and whenever you can figure something out early. I do think that this format's kind of hard to get an edge. It's kind of solved, quote unquote. It's like Warrior, Mage, and Rogue. But I think there's a lot of gameplay, especially from the Mage's side, and from the Rogue side as well. I think Warrior's probably the most straightforward deck to play. Not to say that it's easy, but yeah, I'm kind of interested to see if anybody brings anything besides those 3 classes. I'd be pretty surprised if anybody did, but I think that'd be pretty exciting as well.
Cool, right on. TJ, any questions here for Bloodyface before we sign off?
No, man. Just a big congratulations on winning not only your final game, but just the final game. You're the
absolutely.
Besides mine and Dan's face, your face is the last face that players will see until we go to the playoffs. So. Congratulations on that. His bloody face. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Take care and good luck next season.
All right. Thanks. See you.
With that, it is complete. Honorable apparently was sending me a text talking about, like, what do I even talk about for the curve this week? But we'll be doing all the recaps and stuff on social media, so make sure to check it out at HS_esports. And, I mean, TJ, let's go ahead and recap everything that's happened. We've had 6 matches on Super Sunday, 2 Warrior Mirrors, and, once again, I do want to say, and this is just a really unfortunate circumstance, but my heart does go out to Race and all the fans in Brazil. I know that there are a huge amount of people hoping that he could push through. Just really unfortunate on all accounts. And, sucks to go out that way.
It does. It really does. And kind of a weird, bizarre, insane day overall. A lot of insane outcomes. Very long day of casting. But we're done with the regular season. And there's the final standings. And this is correct also based on tiebreakers, I believe. Frozen and Dog are the heads of the division. Frozen, Eddie, PNC for Division A moving on to the playoffs next week. Dog, Monsanto, Purple for Division B moving on to the playoffs. So the stage is set. And here is the bracket for playoffs A. There is some cross-division play that happens. A second seed from each group crosses divisions and goes on to the other group. And it is a double elimination group-style bracket to move on to the semifinals. So Frozen just gets a bye in that first round, and Monsanto and PNC will face off. So Frozen essentially gets a free win. Nothing's free, Dan. He worked hard for that.
Except damage.
Except damage, and so he'll have a leg up. And there's the playoffs bracket for Group B.
All right, well, that's going to be something to look forward to over the course of 2 days, and then playoffs A, playoff B, and then the final day on Sunday. We're going to wrap it up, and just like that, first season of GM is in the books. Lots of things that I would like to say, but of course, not enough time. But I do want to give my appreciation to the production team. Because we do have long hours here in the Americas team, and our producers, our PAs, everybody that makes this show happen. It's a large undertaking in such a short amount of time, given that, we had World Championships in April, and then 2 weeks later, they had to basically get ready for GM.
Yeah.
It was a very stressful turnaround period.
Yeah, we broadcast, 50 hours of Hearthstone every week across the world in a league format. It gets pretty insane. And, of course, a shout-out to mine and Dan's brethren in the other regions, all the casters that have contributed to the show. And Sistren, yep, that's right. Yep. Gia, who cast over in Asia-Pacific for a couple of weeks, and also still continuing to help us out a lot with preparation and with content. So,
that's right.
it's been like I said, one hell of a ride, Dan.
We're not done yet. We have playoffs this weekend. Make sure to check out all of the VODs, the standings, the scheduling, the deck lists, and all of the rule sets for the upcoming playoffs. Who is going to BlizzCon and who is going to have their dreams crushed for another season? We'll find out what happens. PlayHearthstone.com/esports. We're done here from Studio 5 in Burbank, California. Frody and TJ, the rest of the gang, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time for more Hearthstone action.